Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Dianna's Writing Desk. It's going to be quite a short and sweet one today, I think. The first thing I'd like to do is give some writing updates to my readers and let you know where I am with the current project and the next book. Sins of the Father, which is due for release on the 31st of October, is now available for pre-order. That is available for you to go to your favourite digital reader platform and purchase the pre-order. That will go straight to your e-reader on the 31st of October. The next book I'm going to be writing is going to be the last novelette of the After the Storm series. It's called Jewels of the Crown. It will be told from Lawrence's perspective. All of these 4 novelettes have been told from the point of view of a single character. And that's a very lovely way to write. I don't usually write that way. I like to jump between characters. I tend to write from third-person perspective from multiple points of view. And this is still in third-person perspective, all of these novelettes, but it is told from one single character's point of view for the entire length of the story. So that's been quite fun to do that because it's out of the norm for me. The last one will be from Lawrence's point of view, and it's going to be set 5 years after the storm. So far, all of the other novelettes have been 4 to 5 months after the storm. This one's going to be 5 years after, and it will tie in with both Aftershock and Blood Shadow. And essentially, in some respect or another, it is going to lead straight into the new series when I begin to write that, the first book of which will probably be out 2025. So there is a lot going on in my world. I will be beginning my writing on Jewels of the Crown very soon. I've got a very busy 2 weeks ahead of me doing daily stuff and with my other work and so on at the moment. So there's a lot going on. Once I've cleared that, I'm going to be starting on Jewels of the Crown. I also need to get the new covers for the Eye of the Storm series up. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I did send out a newsletter to my subscribers last night detailing when those covers are going to be coming out. Some of you will have seen those covers as well. Everyone will be able to see those covers at the end of October, just before they're due to go out onto the ebooks. The paperbacks, the Eye of the Storm paperbacks, the second edition, they will all come out from March next year. I had hoped to get them out a little bit sooner at the beginning of next year, but just with time constraints and the way that paperbacks work as well when you're publishing them, it just takes a lot longer. So it's going to be March next year before those are out. I'm going to do my best to get them out alongside the Witching Pen series paperbacks as well, because they need to come out. The covers of those are not changing. They are as you see them on the ebook, so they will be the same for the paperbacks, but I'd like to get those out around the same time as the Eye of the Storm ones, really. So that's going to be quite a lot of work on my plate, but you know, it'll be a huge relief once it's done because I've been meaning to do it for a long time. The other thing I wanted to talk about was this podcast. These episodes, I have been bringing these out weekly so far. They may start coming out bi-weekly now, okay, so every other week, and what I'd like to do is mix it up a bit. So on each episode I want the first half to be about writing updates and letting my readers know where I'm at with my books going forward, and the second half will just be topic related, a topic which I'll pick beforehand. And today we're going to talk about Halloween, or Samhain, which is the old Celtic way of referring, the pagan way of referring to that holiday. In the old Celtic tradition, here where I live in England, Samhain was considered pretty much the beginning of winter. It's really when the weather changes, when the season gets colder and the earth begins to lay itself to rest. So it is seen as the beginning of winter, and it's got a very lovely, restful feel to it. Halloween is a time of year that believe it or not, despite all of my love for the dark and the gothic and so on, I've never really taken to Halloween. I like autumn, I like this time of year, but Halloween itself, where people kind of dress up and go out, I've never liked that. And even as a kid, I never liked dressing up. I still don't like dressing up. I never took to it. And as I got older, in my late teens, my early 20s, I learnt about Samhain, and I learnt about how this time of year is actually associated with the Day of the Dead, and it's associated with celebrating our ancestors and those who are passed over, and celebrating the Festival of the Dead, which is what they do in several countries around Latin America and around some parts of Europe as well. When I learnt about that, Halloween suddenly made much more sense to me, and I found I immediately loved it. It is all those things that it portrays to be commercially, but it's more real when you're actually connecting with it on that level, when you're actually celebrating it in that kind of spiritual way. And the veils are known of being thinner between the worlds at that time. So you can access your ancestors, you can connect to the other world and the spirits on the other side. You can have a better communication with them. So there's no need to dress up because they're right there. Well, these spirits are right there, and most of them aren't scary at all. None of them are scary. They're not scary at all. I've not come across any scary spirits yet. So that is essentially how I celebrate Halloween. I love candlelight. I love a warm fire or a warm house. Not all houses in England have actual fireplaces nowadays. A lot of them just have radiators. I love the woods at night. I love the cooler evenings. I love being able to see the stars earlier in the day. There's so much to love about autumn, about this time of year. And as I get older, I'm appreciating it much, much more. When I was younger, I used to be a summer girl, definitely a summer girl. I loved summer. But now that I'm older, I just kind of think spring and autumn really have their place. I really see the beauty of those two seasons more so than I did when I was younger. And summer for me is less appealing nowadays. I'm finding it just sometimes a little bit too hectic. I still love being out in the sun. I love the bustle sometimes of summer and so on. But spring and autumn are really beautiful seasons. And Samhain is one of those times of year where you can really see that, where it brings it to the fore. I really do associate this time of year with the trees changing colour from green to oranges, and the beautiful flowers, falling off the tree. The harvest, where you have the fruits in bloom, a lot of them falling off the trees now as well. It's such a beautiful time of year. I hold circles here, spiritual circles for some groups, and we've done a little bit of work around Samhain already. We've already welcomed in that time of year and that opening doorway, and it's been lovely, really, really lovely to do this work and to connect in this way. And I will be doing that over the next 2 weeks with various clients as well. So like I said, it is quite a busy week in our family. We've got a lot of birthdays around this time as well. My own is coming up in November, and there's 2 others before that. More than that, we've already had some birthdays just gone. Many people I know have birthdays around now, so it's always a busy time of year. And I kind of always tell myself off for releasing a book on the 31st of October, because I think to myself, why do you do this each year? It gets so busy around this time of year. And yet I decide to add to everything I have to do by bringing a book out on the 31st of October. Don't ask me why. It's just the way I seem to work, sometimes without even realising it. Anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic Samhain or Halloween, or however you celebrate it. I hope you have good communications with your ancestors and your spirits. I'm really looking forward to writing the next book. It is going to be a couple of weeks before I can get onto my laptop and properly start writing, but I am looking forward to that. And keep well until the next episode of the podcast. I shall see you then.